सुप्रभात। सभागार में उपस्थित सभी गणमान्य व्यक्तियों को भारतीय विद्या भवन की ओर से डॉक्टर प्रवीण साहब का सादर नमन और स्वागत। आज हम यहाँ पर एक बहुत ही विशेष उद्देश्य के लिए यहाँ आए हैं और हम जीवन की परिपाटी की उस परिकल्पना से आगे निकलने वाले हैं जिसके लिए हम घूम रहे हैं। कहते ना कि जंगल जंगल ढूंढ रहा है मृग अपनी कस्तूरी को, देखो कितना मुश्किल है तय करना खुद से खुद की दूरी को। तो जीवन को सही राह दिखाना, सही समझना, जीवन जीना और जीवन जीने में बहुत अंतर है। और इस प्रकरण में हजारों साल पहले एक ज्ञान दिया गया था कुरुक्षेत्र के मैदान में श्री कृष्ण के द्वारा अर्जुन को, और उसको हम जानते हैं गीता के नाम से। गीता इज व्हाट? गीता इज द फर्स्ट साइकोलॉजिकल एविडेंस कि गीता के माध्यम से एक व्यक्ति जो कि पूर्ण रूप से ट्रेंड था उसको साइकोलॉजिकल उसको उठाया गया, उसका उत्थान किया गया और उसको बताया गया यस, कर्म के द्वारा, प्रारब्ध के द्वारा आप चीजों को पा सकते हो। हे अर्जुन, उठो और अपने गांडी को उठाओ, यथाशक्ति योजनाएं सब तुम्हारे पास हैं, बस कर्म के विधान में आगे बढ़ो। गीता एक ऐसी पुस्तक है जिसकी अगर एक लाइन ले ली जाए तो 100 मैनेजमेंट की बुक उस पर छप सकती है, जितनी बड़ी चीज है गीता। और गीता को समझने का प्रयास करना एक अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी बात है। और कहते हैं ना कि यहाँ पर हम बहुत आनंदित हैं इस बात को लेकर कि हमारे बीच में एक ऐसी शख्सियत है जिन्होंने ना गीता को केवल समझा, एक दार्शनिक दृष्टिकोण से गीता को समझा और गीता को एक प्रयास किया गया आम जनमानस को उसकी भाषा में समझाने का। हम स्वागत करते हैं श्री के शिवा प्रसाद जी का, क्योंकि बहुत बड़े IAS अधिकारी रहे हैं, बहुत पंजाब सरकार में विभिन्न पदों पर सुशोभित रहे हैं और उनके मार्गदर्शन में एक कुशल प्रशासक के रूप में तो उन्होंने अपनी सेवाएं दी ही हैं, लेकिन एक अच्छे दार्शनिक दृष्टा और वक्ता के रूप में और बहुत अच्छा उनका प्रभाव रहा है। और हम बहुत अनुग्रहित हैं कि ऐसा व्यक्ति हमको भारतीय विद्या भवन के निदेशक के रूप में मिला है। तो हम सब आपको बहुत बहुत सम्मान और प्रणाम कर रहे हैं। और आपने हमें समझाया है, कहते ना कि बहुत जमीनी स्तर पर काम करने वाले व्यक्ति कहते हैं कि तुम गगन में मगन मीत विचरो नहीं, तुम गगन में मगन मीत विचरो नहीं, ये धरा ही बहुत है सृजन के लिए। तुम गगन में मगन मीत विचरो नहीं, ये धरा ही बहुत है सृजन के लिए। आंधियां हैं यहाँ धुंध भरपूर है, बात अधरों की मन से बहुत दूर है। धर्म के आगे बना हुआ आदमी खुद को इंसान कहने में मजबूर है। तो ये पुस्तक आपको लेकर जाती है इस तरह जहां आपका आपसे वास्तविक परिचय हो। श्री के शिवा प्रसाद जी के द्वारा ये गीता आचरण का जो पुस्तक है इसका विमोचन हो चुका है और महामहिम राष्ट्रपति कोविंद जी के द्वारा उनको समर्पण मैंने देखा, कहीं पढ़ा और उनके बहुत अच्छे इसके कमेंट्स और रिव्यूज हमको मिले हैं। तो आज हम सब बहुत सौभाग्यशाली हैं कि आज हम गीता आचरण के माध्यम से, उनकी परिकल्पनाओं के माध्यम से शिवा प्रसाद जी को सुनेंगे और हम कहते हैं ना कि बहुत ज्यादा सौभाग्यशाली है, गीता को वास्तविक अर्थों में समझने का प्रयास करेंगे। तो मैं स्वागत करूंगा शिवा प्रसाद जी को, उनको आमंत्रित करूंगा इससे आए और हम लोगों को अनुरोध करेंगे। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Very good morning to all of you. We are all here to have a small introduction about the course which we are going to start in Bharati Vidya Bhavan on Bhagavad Gita. As you are all aware, Bharati Vidya Bhavan stands for the Indian culture, Indian thought process for last 50-60 years. All the courses we run here on weekend is in the direction only apart from the regular school, colleges, we run and impart Indian culture to the students. And whoever is willing to learn, and Bharati Vidya Bhavan is a place for all of them. We have already any institution which is working for Indian culture cannot go without Srimad Bhagavad Gita. That is our core. It represents our core values, core culture. So we have already course of Bhagavad Gita in Bharati Vidya Bhavan. So it's been running for a number of years. Gita can be learned in two ways. One is what usually we do, go shloka by shloka. That's what the existing course does. In that course, it takes about almost 4 years. Every year we cover about 3 chapters. At the end of the 4 years, we have the examination also. That's one way of learning the Bhagavad Gita. Second way is the attempt which we are making now through this course to understand the Bhagavad Gita in contemporary context. So this is the second course we are going to start from next Friday, next Saturday. So I'll be running that course. One of the reasons why I ventured into running this course is this weekend courses, the amount of hard work our teachers like Deepa, I can see, all the teachers, I can see their faces here. So the amount of hard work they put in, the amount of hard work as a students, all of you put in. So I also want to feel that. I also want to experience that. Apart from whatever I have learned in Gita, I thought let me share it also. In the regular course, it is for somebody who knows Sanskrit, but this course is for somebody who doesn't understand Sanskrit. Many of us don't know Sanskrit. We have another course also. If somebody wants to learn Sanskrit, we have Shankara Sanskrit Vidyalaya, who teaches both Gita courses as well as Sanskrit. And as on today, we thought let's have a course for somebody who doesn't understand Sanskrit. The chapter-wise, the verse-wise course has its advantages. We are going to have a theme-wise course. Theme-wise in the sense, what happens is Gita is a live conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjun. Probably Lord Krishna is reading his mind, reading his thought process. So all his replies, all his verses are particularly with reference to Arjun. So when you go to verse wise, you have to really go to that context. So sometimes we find it difficult. So we thought, let's take it a theme based. What are the principles? See, the Bhagavad Gita is the only textbook I found. I'll just tell about myself also, where the very existence, कि जो अस्तित्व जो है खुद एक इंसान से बात किया था. तो क्या रूल्स है, रेगुलेशन है, क्या प्रिंसिपल्स है जो अस्तित्व का, जिससे हम अलाइन करें, हम अपने जिंदगी को खुशीमय बना सकते हैं. यू कैन मेक आवर लाइफ्स वेरी हैप्पी. इफ यू ट्राई टू काइंड ऑफ डोंट अलाइन विद दिस एग्जिस्टेंस, अस्तित्व के साथ नहीं चलेंगे तो फिर दुखमय जीवन होगी, विल बी फुल ऑफ लाइफ विल बी मिजरी. So in that context, we are going ahead with this course of the Bhagavad Gita, understanding Bhagavad Gita in the contemporary context. We have roughly thinking of about 25 classes of 90 minutes each, and as usual, we'll give a certificate at the end of the course. Before going further, I would like to give my own introductions. As on today, I'm posted as I'm working as Director of Bharati Vidya Bhavan, Delhi Kendra. I am born and brought up in Andhra Pradesh. All my studies were there in Andhra Pradesh. I'm basically an engineering graduate. And during engineering itself, I got into yoga, meditation. So I used to do regular meditation. So as usual, when a kid goes into this area, parents get worried. So they were said, no, please focus on your studies, not on these things can be done later in life also. Maybe as a good son, I listened to them and focused on my studies. Then I got selected into IAS in 1993, and I was posted in Punjab for the last almost 30 years. I was working in Punjab. And about 15 years back, then probably my own the passion is to understand spirituality, spiritual path. So probably it got reignited. Though I didn't start with Indian classics in the beginning, I was reading about Western leadership and how do they handle. So whatever course comes on my way, I used to do those courses. And then I took a 2 year break in 2017 and 18. So that's where I spent 2 years exclusively on data. Probably that 20 years of experience of life is also very important to understand data. And many things have kind of fallen in place. And in 2020, I started writing the regular articles on Gita in a local English newspaper in Chandigarh. So it started receiving good response. So then we converted it into Hindi, which the Punjab Kesari does in Hindi, and they have a newspaper Jagbani. It is in translated into Punjabi. Then they have another newspaper Hind Samachar. Then they translate into Urdu also, and the Urdu columns come on every Tuesday. Then we went to there is a newspaper called Samaja in Odia. It got translated to Odia and it's published in Odia. And in Telugu, we have Andhra Jyoti, so it's published there. In Kannada, it is done. So far we have converted into 9 languages. And second thing is this is an ongoing thing which is going on. So we have podcast. The idea is to let the youngsters also be a part of it so that today if you ask them to read, probably will be hesitant. So they will be willing to podcast or video or something. So there also we will be doing. So course is the first thing we are starting in Bharati Vidya Bhavan, so that whatever the theme-based knowledge of the Gita, if it can be given to the our students here, maybe I'm very confident the way in which I got benefited, each one of it I can get benefited out of this course. Two things I would like to tell at this stage. One is this course will be very scientific. All the scientific knowledge, whatever we have today in the all over the world. My conclusion is science slowly gets aligned with Gita. Gita is eternal. It is there where it is. But science, maybe yesterday, we all thought, the sun was rotating around the earth. For probably millennium, we lived in it, we lived with it. But when we realized, no, it is wrong, then we got aligned with the existential truth. Gita is existential truth. So wherever we have differences, I am 100% sure being a science student, we have read Gita. So Gita will be correct because if not today, maybe after 100 years, after 200 years, some of the new things will come. So there, it is kind of gets aligned. Second thing is, while writing this article, I used to make it sure that I have two children. I used to read them in the context of making corrections and see whether they are able to understand it or not. Because unless a teenager can understand Gita, so unless you bring to such a easy level, so even a teenager also can understand. So two things I would like to assure. One is the purely scientific. Second is the understanding is at a easy level, so that anybody can get the benefit out of the Gita. In the course like this, each one of us will be at different levels of awareness. Some must have read, I'm sure all of us have Gita at home. Some of us must be reading on a regular basis. Some may be on a festival occasion. Some may be, doing puja for Gita. So these are all, a regular household kind of chores we all do. And Gita is is a text. It is so beautifully written. I call it's a textbook of LKG to post graduation. Somebody who is at a very beginning level of awareness, he also gets something out of it. And who considers himself to be a guru or a master, he also will get something out of Gita. So that's how the book is framed or kept in that way. Like I'll give an example of awareness, how awareness goes. If a small kid, if he's learning addition, and if you ask him what is 2 plus 2 equal to, so he may say 3, he may say 4, he may say 5. So we don't say that, he is committing a mistake or he's committing a sin, he's committing, we only say the level of awareness you have, and that is yet to come up. Suppose if you are, going to a physics student, where you say the earth is round. So for all practical purpose, we say the earth is round. But when you go higher awareness, when somebody gets into MSc, physics or PhD, no, earth is slightly bulging at the center. So all the calculation, if you want to launch a GPS satellite or something, so that's why you have to take all those into consideration. So the level of awareness is different. In fact, if you listen to any Buddha conversation, so he talks about 4 horses, where the first horse is you have to really beat it up to make it move. Second horse is maybe a sound of the uh, the sound of a stick will itself make it run. Somebody, the final stage is where when you look into your eyes, it will understand where it has to go. So level of awareness is different. So the effort will be to ensure that each one in the class comes to the same awareness level, so that somebody at the beginning, somebody at the advanced level, so they can get the benefit out of the course. And as I mentioned, Gita is available for all of us. It's like, if you have in Gita, he says, Yoga Kshemam Vahamiham. I take care of all your welfare and yoga. It's like, if there is a rain outside, and if you keep your bowl upright, then you will collect some water. Suppose if you keep it, downward, what will happen? The entire, nothing, no water will get collected in the bowl. The question is, our the blessings are available. Are we ready to receive them? And none of us know, in fact, how to receive them also. Everybody wants to have the blessings. Everybody wants to have a good life, a happy life. But how to harness those blessings is something which during the course we'll be discussing it. Why we are unable to use that, what prevents us, what qualities in us prevent us from harnessing these blessings of the Lord Krishna. So this is something which we will be discussing in the course. I'd like to tell a small story. It's my favorite story. Imagine, when you come to Bharati Vidya Bhavan, you have entry, so gate number 4, you have a beautiful ground there. So imagine that ground is filled with a lot of toys, interesting toys for the children. So one father takes his son to the ground. He says, "Hey, let's play." He throws a ball and he says, "Hey, go and get the ball." So as the kid runs, the father is also just behind him, watching what he's doing. So he gets attracted to a toy and he starts playing. He forgets about the game and he starts playing about the toy. So it's like us also, we also sometimes get attracted to something and then we forget the basic purpose for which, the entire life is. So from behind, his father shouts at him and says, no, go and get the ball. So these are some of the difficult times we face in life. So somebody kicks us, somebody pushes us, somebody tells us, no, this is not the path what you are doing. You get hold of the right path. Then the boy starts running again. So this time he finds another beautiful guy. He starts there. But what happens is there is another bully working there. He starts snatching that toy. So the boy starts crying. So probably be the favorite story for all of us. What we want to get something in life, somebody else snatches it, and we keep get disappointed. Then and again, father shouts from the back, and he goes next. So this time, by the time the boy also got expert, and he snatches one toy from other boy, and he makes other people cry. So probably, if you look at this broadly, our that's how our life also goes on. All the time, his father is just behind us. So the blessing of the Almighty, the Lord Krishna, is just behind us. It's just question of taking a turn and looking at back. And when we are busy with life, when we are stuck up with so many responsibilities, even just looking back becomes very difficult. Probably that is the reason why when you keep listening to Gita courses or otherwise, so it aligns you with the principles of this existence. Why I call it principles is you all know about the principle of gravity, whether we like it, whether we don't like it, the principle of gravity exists there. Anybody who jumps from a staircase, so he will fall and get hurt. So the wisdom is to not to get hurt by understanding the principles offered by this very existence. ये अस्तित्व जो हमें देती है, and Gita is a perfect guide to understand those principles so that we all can live a very a joyful life. And one word of caution I would like to give over the course before we enter into the some concepts of Gita is that this course is like a GPS. When you put the GPS in the car, so driving one has to do himself. Even if one has to walk, one has to walk himself. So GPS will not let do that walking or driving to do. So the hard work, though in Bhagavad Gita, many places Krishna says abhyas. So he never says that I'll just bless you and you'll get everything. No, abhyas. So keep doing practice, keep doing analysis. Of course, this abhyas is not like our Kundan sir does for yoga. This mental abhyas certainly. So how you contemplate, what experiences are there in life, how you use they use those experiences for the betterment of your life. So this mental work one has to do as a participant, as a student, one has to do. There is no shortcut to that. I'll introduce a couple of small concepts of Gita, which will give an idea how a course looks like. Basically, anybody who knows about Gita, they say it has Karma Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. Karma Yoga is for mind-oriented people. Like we are all mind-oriented people. We want action, we keep thinking. And so 70-80% of people I find are mind-oriented. Second is Sankhya Yoga, is about awareness, Jnana Yoga भी कहते हैं. So it's for somebody who is intellect oriented, बुद्धि जो है जो use करते हैं, contemplate करते हैं, उनके लिए. The Karma Yoga is like this. If I have to be example, we think that we are bound in some the chains. To break those chains, to attain that moksha, to attain that freedom, ultimate freedom, you have to break those chains in which, chains of attachment, chains of whatever chains, one will think. So you have to really work hard to break those chains. And Sankhya is like, if you're in a dark room, no amount of hard work can remove that darkness. You have to light a small candle or a lamp to remove the darkness. By fighting, darkness is not going to go. It is the awareness at the intellectual level that we the lessen the darkness or remove the darkness and bring the light of joy into our lives. And of course, bhakti is for heart-oriented people, where devotion, dedication, surrender. So my understanding about Gita is, basically there are only two paths, karma and jnana. But final step is going to be bhakti only, whether you come through Karma Yoga path or you come to Sankhya Yoga path. Without bhakti, if you want to attain that ultimate freedom of moksha, probably that's not possible. At least we don't have any history available with us to somebody who's there. Of course, in Gita, many places he after Vishwadu, the Khaneke path. So Krishna himself tells that nobody can see me like this except through bhakti. So bhakti is the final step for all the paths you have taken. That's final one. And Gita also talks about three gunas. You call it sattva guna, tamo guna, and rajo guna. Basically, it's about how our soul get attached to the body. It's like a binding force, these gunas. How Prakriti se, how they are born, and how Purush kaisa hota hai. All these things come as a part of the course, but I'm just giving a glimpse of it. So these Sattva Guna binds us, binds the soul with the body through interest in knowledge, and Rajoguna through interest in action, Tamoguna through laziness it binds. Usually we think that we should attain Sattva, but Gita talks about being Gunatit. You have to transcend all the gunas. Any attachment to any guna is a problem. The one example I'll give you. Suppose you have a small a child at home. He wants to go and play in the playground. So he is full of rajoguna. He's full of energy. He wants to do something. He wants to go parts of action. And at that time, if you tell him to do the homework, you tell them to go and solve some science or maths. So you are forcing him towards sattva, whereas he is at that point of time in rajoguna. So then he resists, he fights. So it's the interaction of these gunas. Our life, if you ask me to ask, what is life? It is the interaction of gunas, nothing else. We don't know. The Vedis, in fact, Gita, Krishna himself says, when sattva and rajo are suppressed by tamo, then tamo guna exhibits in us, and it goes on like this. Tamo, usually people say it's very bad, but imagine if there is no tamo guna, evening you will not be able to sleep. That laziness, that sleep, tamo guna is equally important, but Gita talks about gunati, how to transcend these gunas, and you just play like a toys. You don't let them. If you are riding a horse, the lagam jo hai, it should be in your hand. The lagam of these gunas should be in your hand. That's how Gita teaches, and that's what we'll see in the course. And another interesting concept in the Gita is the Vyakta Avyakta. In fact, that's how Gita starts. We all of us know second chapter, because second chapter तक तो सारे पढ़ते हैं. उसके बाद फिर थोड़ा laziness आ जाते हैं, तमोगुण आ जाती है. And he explains about, if you look at the now modern philosophers in the West talking about, they say we are not a physical body, we are spiritual being with physical body. That's what, in the beginning of Gita, he says, Atma is Aman hai. Whenever we have a difficult time, that's what we keep telling ourselves. The characteristics of Atma, and that's the basically unmanifested is Atma or Paramatma, what we call. Manifested is, it has 8 folds, so that we'll see in the course, and the body is the manifested. And what is the relation between these two? How do these gunas bind the Atma with body? In detail, it was explained in Gita. In the course, we'll see that. And he introduced a beautiful concept called Sat and Asat. So for that, one example we keep using in our philosophy is rope and snake. Once what happens, when a farmer went to field and he's coming home in the evening darkness, so he found one coiled snake in front of the door of the home. Actually, that is not the snake. That's a rope which children were playing and left in the road. But the person who is there felt it's a snake. As long as he thinks it is a snake, then either he'll run away from there, he will bring a stick and then try to kill it, or he will bring a torch or a light and then see what exactly he will find out the thing. So this rope snake analogy is something which we use regularly in the understand Sat and Asat. Initially, Krishna says, understand Sat and Asat. Asat is that which is there today, which was not there yesterday, and which will not be there tomorrow. Like when you get angry. So that anger was not there 10 minutes before, and it will not be there after 1 hour. But for some time it is there, that is Asat. Our physical body, it was not there 40 years back, 50 years back. Maybe it will not there after 20, 30 years back. So it is Asat. But behind this Asat, there is a Sat. So which he says identify between Sat and Asat. That's one of the things we'll discuss in the course. And in fact, the beauty of Gita is initially he says Sat and Asat. Learn to differentiate. Later he says, I am both Sat as well as Asat. When it comes to the Bhakti, when I'm saying, if you have to see that contradictions as one, then Gita takes to the next level where he says, I am both Sat as Asat also. Another beautiful concept which Gita talks about is the senses and sense objects. Probably when initially I used to read Gita, but I never understood that. But when I was subsequently reading, I said it is so scientific. Everything what we perceive about this world, be happy, be unhappy, be anger, be frustration, whatever it is, it all happens through senses. Suppose if you get a good food in the lunch today, you will happy. Suppose something went wrong, it was over fried or overcooked or put some salt extra, you feel very unhappy. So the Gita is when senses meet sense objects. Suppose somebody comes and tell you, एक कोर्स खत्म होने के बाद साहब आपने बहुत अच्छा you explained Gita very well. I'll feel very happy. If he says no, it's not good, then I'll feel disappointed. End of the day, what is it? It's something my ears listening to some words of somebody. So this generates polarities of pain and pleasure. Probably this is the first sloka 2.14 of Gita. For me, I feel that's where actually Gita starts. So first says is when senses meet sense objects, the polarities of Sitoshna Sukha Dukha. Suppose if you keep your hand in a cold water, hot water, you feel, if it is cold, you feel cold, hot. So Sitoshna Sukha Dukha. So this is the crux of all our misery, and we'll see in the course how it can be mitigated, how can handle the senses, and we'll try to merge Bhagavad Gita with Srimad Bhagavata also. 11th chapter of Srimad Bhagavata is called Uddhav Gita. So Uddhav is a childhood friend of Krishna Bhagavan. And when Krishna Bhagavan was to give to Vaikuntha Lok, he calls him and he says, I'm going, so you want to, so he just intimates, I'm going. He says, I'm also coming because he says, I am with you only. Then he says, no, you can't come there. Then he starts crying and says, आप कुछ कह के जाओ मेरे लिए, tell me something so that I can utilize that. Then 11th chapter of Bhagavad is entire conversation. There also he talks about senses. He compares senses with wild horses. He says you cannot just control senses, and somewhere Arjuna also asks how to control the mind. So all those things will come in the course. He says senses are like wild horses. Try to understand them first. When for a praise, how you are getting happy, for a criticism, how you are getting unhappy. Don't think that the praise criticism has to be only about yourself personally. Suppose if you believe in India, Pakistan. So if somebody praises Pakistan in front of you, you will fight with him. If somebody, that's our belief system. We have that. Suppose if you are a communist, then it's a capitalist is there. We have belief system. It gets into religion, it gets into caste, it gets into male, female. Division is the name of the mind, and when anything opposing our understanding, our belief, so then it generates those polarities. We argue, and I think somebody who is on a WhatsApp group, you see how fights erupt in the WhatsApp group just because that polarity. That and polarity ka jo hai. Second thing is it's like a pendulum. Suppose if we are getting into the happy side of it, after some time, maybe 1 year, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it will come back to the other side. So once again in Gita, Krishna says, how to transcend the polarities, then get swinging between happiness and sadness. Of course, we take our happiness into consideration and then we keep reconsiderating the happiness. So that's how we survive. But Gita, the course is there to help you how to transcend these polarities so that when you are swinging between them, you will be able to see it like a Sakshi. Sakshi is another beautiful word, so you'll be able to see it like a witness. And the idea is, Gita says, don't depend on your senses for your happiness, be it good food, be it good smell, be it good touch, or a praise, or a beautiful scene. No, you have to go beyond that. That's what this course is about. And one more concept is equanimity. Samatva is another concept of Gita. Samatva bhav, samatva buddhi, samatva drishti. There are many things that come up. We'll see in the course about that. And to put it in equanimity, I will say how we treat others is what is our all about equanimity. The first level of equanimity, if somebody is into political science or a lawyer, will understand. Constitution says two people should be treated separately. So two people who are not related to us, it's very easy to treat them equal. So then next level is if one of them is close to us, then one is close to us, one is not. Then next level, how will we be able to treat them equal? So it becomes very difficult. If somebody is close to us, especially if our son cleared the NEET exam or IIT exam, we'll be very happy. At the same time, our son didn't clear, but our neighbor's son cleared. Somewhere, some that equanimity will not be same, have same happiness as our son getting success. So third is when one person is me and another person is others. So in the office, I think the this beautiful room should belong to me. So, but no, my boss has allotted to somebody else. And let me tell you, in the offices, majority of the fights are about the chair they got it, the table they got it, and the room they got it. So when I involve, so it's very difficult to bring that equanimity. And it's like, the famous saas bahu ki jo hoti hai. So can we treat our daughters and daughter-in-law as separate? Can we treat our mother and mother-in-law as same? So see, Gita, that's why I said it's only GPS. I can only tell you standing here. So the journey is yours. One has to travel that. And the interesting in Gita is कृष्ण भगवान से इसकी स्मॉल एफर्ट्स करो. He doesn't say that कि आप पहाड़ तोड़ो, आप बड़ी बड़ी काम करो. Small change in your life, he assures that. He says कि I'm here to let you get that happiness, get that joy. So and by understanding Gita, our difficulties are not going to go, but the way in which we handle our difficulties will certainly improve. And the people around you, you yourself feel very happy and contented and satisfied about it. Of course, contentment is another thing. Which, I thought I'll not be able to cover all the topics I did. Sthita Prajna is one thing which we is a regular thing we talk in Gita. And of course, final thing is if one thing all of us know about Gita is, I kept it for the last, is karta, karma, and karma. He says you have right to do your karma, you have right over your action, but not over the fruits of action. Probably this 2.47 shloka, all of us are aware of it, and in some sense or other, probably shloka also majority of us aware of it. And this has so much of explanation in Bhagavad Gita. First, subsequently, it comes in chapter 13. He says, why is it so? He gives the reason also, because between karma and karma, he says there is a X factor called daiva. So the blessing of Almighty is something which is here between what we do and what we get. So that factor is probably, I haven't encountered anybody who can tell how to impress that daivam, maybe through a bhakti, through a shraddha. So that's the only way. And karta, one thing if you ask me about Gita is it's about how you reduce your ahankar. Ahankar is aham karta. So I am doer. So this is the syndrome. So every day at least I find in every person some conversation or other. This is what it does to us. This aham karta, ahankar is something which is so difficult and it is so subtle. इतना सूक्ष्म है, इसको पकड़ना मुश्किल है, बट अंदर से इतना इसको हमें मतलब ये एजिटेट करवाता है, हमें मोटिवेट करता है in a negative way. It keeps creating problem for all of us. So this karta, karma, and karma. So Bhagavad Gita says, for any karma, there is no karta. It is the interaction of gunas that result in the actions that see around us. So it's a very, very detailed chapter. Probably karma and what are the niyat karma kya hai, what are the obligatory actions kya hai, because it's so confusing. Suppose if you take आप एक सीड को लीजिए, बीज को ले लीजिए, हम expect करते हैं कि that seed core should protect the embryo till right situation comes. The moment right situation comes, it is expected to give away it itself, to break itself, to give the way to the sprout that is comes out of it. So one time its job is to protect the thing. Second time its job is not to protect, let it go. So with respect to time, in due course of time, what we think right becomes wrong, what we wrong thinks right. Like I always give example of when you launch a rocket into space. So you have different stages. The first stage is the biggest booster rocket. So after it is taken to some height, it is supposed to detach itself and fall off. If it doesn't detach itself and fall off, then you will have a problem. Then that also will come down. So every moment the role responsibilities keep changing. That's why karma understanding. Krishna says even the wise, these are also confused about karma, akarma, and vikarma. So to the best of our thing, we'll see in the course how we can navigate through these difficulties. And so I'd like to stop here for questions and answers. I know all of you are waiting for your other classes also. And the takeaway, once I want to tell you, is it's a course which will give you direction, which will expose you to some of the facets of themes that are there in the Bhagavad Gita. So, in fact, my understanding is there are about 20 to 25 themes in the entire all over the world. No, whichever book you take, they all run on these 20, 25 themes. Different people explain in a different way. Language varies, the context varies, the situation varies. But the underlying thing is like गीता में कहते हैं ना कि जैसा जो necklace होता है, he says I am the thread in the necklace. The thread is common depending on what kind of ornaments you are keeping above the thread, then it looks different. So the idea is to expose you to the all the themes that are there in the Bhagavad Gita in a rational way, so that everybody can have a takeaway, a journey to start with, and during the course, one will be in a position to make themselves a joyful person. See, what happens is if you are not contented person in life, if you are a person with frustration, what happens? You will give frustration only to others. How can you give happiness? When I don't know how to be happy in life, how can I distribute happiness to somebody? Not possible. If I am full of frustration, full of unhappy, full of anger, what will I give to others? I'll give anger only, I'll give frustration only. So it's about when you empty yourself of these negative things, Krodha, Bhaya. These are the three things he says. They are the gates for the hell, and Gita Krishna says. So unless you handle them, unless you reduce them, unless you turn them, that energy into a positive way. So once you've done it, so you bring happiness to yourselves, to your families, to wherever the places we go, wherever we work, wherever we think. It doesn't mean you will not take a tough decisions. You will not be tough, and probably the toughest man and as well as the softest man you can find in our history is Lord Krishna. When he has to tell that go and do fight in the Kurukshetra, he ensured he fought. That's the requirement of the hour. When he was to do Raslila, he was known for his soft character, soft nature of it. So if you have to understand Gita, that personality of Krishna also comes in. So at this stage, I would like to stop. Anyone has any doubt or anything, I would like to answer. The course will be starting from next Saturday. So evening we are planning so that somebody is here can take the benefit of that. So tentatively we are having 4 o'clock. If anybody has better suggestion about the timing, somebody wants to have another time, we can think of that also. At this point of time, we are flexible. We are not rigid about the timings, so we can think of that also. Yeah. Okay, okay. Okay. Okay, so you prefer 12 o'clock for somebody in Sunday, yeah, yeah. So what we'll see is, depending on the interest shown by the students, so we, who are participants are there, so we can adjust the timings. So we are making both online and offline, we are thinking at this point of time, depending on the requirement. Otherwise, if there is no requirement, then we can do either way also. We can go for the online also, only online also, or only offline also. So next week we'll take a decision call on that, depending on the requirement of the students. Yes. See, that's what I'm planning. I'm planning that somebody who is not very comfortable with English, so they will be able to understand the essence. Because what happens is, like ahankar, उसका मतलब बताइए इंग्लिश में. Ego is something, arrogance, ego.
Right.
But aham karta is I am doer. There is no specific word English to understand the ahamkar. So, like, if I say karma, sankhya, and bhakti yoga, there's no, if I say, okay, very good. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. In fact, pure Hindi, we are not, maybe next course we'll think of it, but as of now, it will be kind of mixed only. See, what you are saying has, I understand the difficulty. Mr. Rao is sitting here, he is a master of about 7-8 languages, who is coordinating in this course. So we used to do translation. My mother tongue is Telugu. So initially we did in Hindi and then Punjabi. So for every language, one thing I ensure is that I listen to the translation. We used to spend hours together. Sometimes evening 8 o'clock we sit here, morning 2 o'clock we get up. So the many things get lost in the translation. There's no doubt about that. So Hindi, mother tongue, I'll call it, it brings its own flavor. But that will be next course. But at this point of time, I'll say it will be in English. So maybe with about 20% of Hindi, somebody doesn't understand, you can do that. But we are thinking of a Hindi course in due course of time. See, I'm taking 25 classes of 1.5 hours each. So 4, if you take 6 months, it will go to 6 months. 3 will be, it will be doing, not be able to justice to Gita. It will be kind of.
Saturday or Saturday, Sunday?
No, only once a day. See, content is so heavy. I want somebody to will giving the course material also would like to go through the material, contemplate. Especially if I say one of the things Veer Rag, I don't know if you heard this word Veer Rag kehte hain. It is neither Rag nor Virag. Neither it is attachment nor detachment. It is something a state beyond. कोई तुरिया कहते हैं, मतलब there are different names given to that. So if I explain about Vitrag, and if we have to spend a week time just to understand exactly what is Vitrag, what is when you got into that mode of Rag, when you got into the mode of Virag, and how you have arrived at Vitrag. So I think a week gap for each class would be beneficial to you, so that you'll be able to sink into that. So Gita is something. First time when you read, you will understand something. So next time you read, you will understand slightly. Okay, I was thinking this, but yesterday my experience was this. So when you met this, okay, this is like this. So slowly it gets. Because the more, I'll tell a story. I was listening somewhere. So somebody goes to a guru and says, I want to understand about, Tattvadina, so he says, okay, how much time we can do it? He says, I will spend 2 hours, a day. Then he says it takes about 10 years. Okay. Then no, then I'll do it for 4 hours a day. Then he says, then it will take 20 years. No, I'll do for 8 hours a day. Then it will take 40 years. So unless you sink it into the so it's there's no point. Then it will listen and then it will go. So that's not my purpose. So at least.
And so another thing, like most of us are coming on Sunday for some other class.
Okay.
Why not have it on Sunday?
Okay. Look, date we'll see that Saturday, Sunday. So depending on the registration. So I just want to once you register, we are flexible about the day and the time. And if somebody can't come, they can join online also. You know, we are giving that option of online, but we have online option also and offline. So,
Well,
and yeah.
online, will we have recorded session?
See, I tell you, गीता पे इतना अवेलेबल है रिकॉर्डेड सेशंस. मैं तो अभी जो मैं कह रहा हूँ सारे रिकॉर्डेड है, मेरा पॉडकास्ट सब कुछ है. बट अनलेस यू सिट इन द क्लास, आप क्यों आते हैं यहाँ? वो जो क्लासरूम का जो मजा जो है ना, वो इनफैक्ट वन ऑफ द एस्ट्रोलॉजी क्लासेस आई वाज टेलिंग देम, we started recently one online astrology class. I was telling them, I know that what we did, somebody who can't come on Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday and Thursday evening, we started classes for astrology. But I told them, sometime please come to the institution, meet the teachers. So that kind of bonding is something which I feel you should have in such classes. The recording will be available. This knowledge is free. In fact, end में जाके गीता में कहते हैं कि ये मतलब गुप्त रखो. Somebody somewhere asked me in one of the seminars कि आप गीता प्रेस वाले इतना प्रिंट करते हैं, आप गुप्त कैसा रह गया? कहते कि उसके बाद ज्यादा गुप्त हो गए. हम सोचते हैं गीता प्रेस करके तो ला के घर में रख लिया बस. End of it, open, read and contemplate. कहाँ होती है? अगर ज्यादा गुप्त हो गए, पहला क्या होता था ना, थोड़ा सीक्रेट होता तो जाके टीचर से किसी के साथ बैठते हैं, जो समझते हैं. इनफैक्ट श्रवण इज वन ऑफ द मोड्स, बाद में आएगी, इज वेयर कृष्णा सेज कि तुम्हें कुछ भी नहीं आता, जो जानता है उसके पास जाके बैठ जाओ, वो जो समझाएगा उसको. सी गीता इज ए, इनफैक्ट as I went deep into Gita, what we think and his Lord Krishna's approach comes sometimes, it comes bang on your face. So we see, गुरु को करना चाहिए. वो पहला कहता है कि आप पहला शिष्य बनो. जब तक आप शिष्य नहीं बनोगे, अच्छा शिष्य बनोगे, सीखने के लिए अपने आप को तैयार नहीं करोगे, if you want to put some seed on something, that field should be ready not to receive it. So if you don't do that, that has to be, that's why I say it is a GPS. In the modern context, it is just a GPS. You have to do the hard work for yourself. So without that, no, there is no way. So it says, पहला जो है, आप अच्छा शिष्य कैसे बनोगे? आप पहला जो है साष्टांग सीखो, ताकि वोल्टेज जो है पानी ऊपर से नीचे आएगी ना. मैं पहला ही ऊपर जाके बैठ जाऊं तो nothing. तो साष्टांग करो पहले. Then somebody who knows will be able to tell you. कहते कि सवाल करो. सवाल टीचर को करोगे, बट खुद को भी सवाल करो. क्या मैंने जो बोला था उतना क्या इम्प्लीमेंट कर पा रहा हूँ, नहीं पा रहा हूँ? जैसा एग्जांपल लेता हूँ, सिंपल कहते हैं कि आप कर्म को मत छोड़ो, कर्म के पीछे जो हेट्रेड जो है ना, जो घृणा जो कहते हैं, वो उसको छोड़ दो. क्या कितना घृणा छोड़ पाए? चलो कल सुबह से लेकर शाम तक कितने काम किया हूँ, कितने में मैं हेट्रेड से किया हूँ काम किया हूँ, सोच कितने बार आई है. Unless you contemplate, question yourself, how can be a good student? So then third, the other seva karo. So 3 qualities he gives. These 3 qualities if you develop, then he says you will be a good Sishya. Once you are a good Sishya, Guru apne aap aayega. Then I'll go back once again to that Uddhav Gita. There Krishna refers to a person who has 24 gurus. He says, 24 gurus, एक को मिलना मुश्किल होता है, 24 कहाँ से मिल गया? देखो जी, देख लो, I have learned from the honey bee. मधुमक्खी से सीखा हूँ. क्या सीखा? कहते कि इकट्ठा करने का कोई फायदा नहीं. वो कोई इंसान आके उसको मार के, हम क्या करते हैं उसके साथ? वो छीन के ले जाएगा, या कोई बेर आके उसको मार के उसको खा जाएगा. Because if you read Mahabharata, वो any honey bee, if it tries to drink honey from that thing, दूसरे हनी भी उसको डंक मार के बाहर फेंक देते हैं. That's the rule. What can we do? So he says कि मैं वहां से सीखा हूँ इकट्ठा करने को कोई फायदा नहीं है. So फिर कहते कि आप, मैं मच्छी से सीखा हूँ. क्या सीखा? कहते कि आटा के पीछे काटा होता है. I'm easy के कह रहा हूँ. So it doesn't say that. So behind every allurement, there is bound to be a pain. I shouldn't be saying on this forum. तो शाम को किसी को दारू पीना अच्छा लगता है, बट कहीं ना कहीं जाके वो अफेक्ट करती है, हेल्थ को अफेक्ट करती है. लाइक फॉर मी, लाइक आई एम ए पर्सन हु इज फॉन्ड ऑफ स्वीट्स, कहीं ना कहीं जाके आपको हेल्थ पे अफेक्ट करती है वो. सो एवरी एल्यूरमेंट व्हिच वो ना सेंसेस पे आती है बात. वहां वंस इफ सेंसेस आर सैटिस्फाई करने के लिए कोशिश करते हैं, एक तो वो कहते हैं कि कभी सैटिस्फाई तो होते नहीं है सेंसेस, आप जितना भी करो और मांगेंगे, मतलब दिल मांगे बहुत. सो दीज आर द थिंग्स व्हिच वी when you get deeper into it, so we'll keep getting more clarity. So we'll see, depending on the registrations, we'll Saturday, Sunday, yeah, वो करेंगे. This you will have the recordings, but I'm sure you'll get the answer. It is available everywhere. It's not that it's not there. It's there in Madhumaki, it is there in Machi, so everywhere it is there. It's question of spending that time and then you get inculcating into yourself and learning from the experiences. Okay. Anything else? Thank you all of them.
डायरेक्टर साहब का बहुत बहुत अभिवादन कि उन्होंने इतनी अच्छे नॉलेज से हमें दी और उनको बहुत बहुत साधुवाद। और आपको शायद पता होगा या नहीं पता हो तो जान लीजिए कि गीता का नाम गीता ही क्यों पड़ा। महाभारत के 18 अध्याय, उनमें से 700 श्लोक, उसमें छठा पर्व भीष्म पर्व, उसमें अर्जुन को दिया गया श्री कृष्ण का जो ये संवाद है जिसे गीता कहते हैं, ये छंदों के माध्यम से दिया गया है, गीतों के माध्यम से दिया गया। तो जो रणभूमि में भी गीत सुना दे वही तो कृष्ण है। तो ये जो गीत गाए इसको हमने कहा कि गीता, और चूंकि ये भगवान के द्वारा सुनाया गया तो ये हो गई भगवत गीता। और इसमें श्रीमत शब्द और लगा दिया तो इसकी जो उपासना और बहुत अच्छी पद्धति को करके ये हो गई श्रीमत गीता। सुना है ना, यदा यदा ही धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानं धर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्। नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि न शोचति पारुता न सैन्यं कलंकृतो न शोचति मारुतः। तो इस तरह के इतने सारे श्लोक दिए हैं और इसके माध्यम से हम पढ़ते हैं। तो डायरेक्टर सर का बहुत बहुत साधुवाद कि उन्होंने एक अच्छे विषय को हमारे तक पहुंचाने का जिम्मा लिया है। हम आप उनको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देते हैं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।